Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast. Time to hashtag everything. We talk about all the fun, crazy stories on social media. From Instagram to Facebook, Twitter to Tumblr, or probably even Friendster. Join us each week as we explore the quirky side of social media. It's the Golden State Media Concepts social media podcast.
It's simple, such a sad song. The one that we rely on to get us.
Alright everybody, welcome back to the GSMC Social Media News Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jose, and I kind of started last week's episode saying that there really wasn't much going on in social media, and, in terms of, like, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, anything like that. There wasn't really much, big news that really happened within the course of this week. However, I'm still gonna, report on some of, the pretty important stuff that happened, or pretty interesting stuff that happened throughout this week. And first off, as today is March 4th, this marks the date of Paramount Plus releasing. And honestly, I'm really excited for that. Just seeing everything, the reactions that people are going to be having for not Disney Plus, but Paramount Plus. Just because of the success of previous streaming websites like Disney Plus and Netflix and Hulu. I'm excited for what Paramount's going to have, and they've already released some of their titles that they're going to have, like SpongeBob, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Star Trek, iCarly, and there's definitely a lot more movies. And I'm really excited to do this, to see this, just because hopefully I can partake in Paramount Plus and see if I can, snag myself an account there. But it really does show how competitive it is when it comes to streaming services. There's Netflix and Disney Plus and Hulu and all these major businesses just dominating the streaming service sort of competition. And now here's a new contestant, Paramount Plus, and I feel like they'll be on top of there, next to Disney Plus, just because all of these different streaming services have some sort of quote unquote golden ticket show that will get them all of their audience. So, for example, Disney Plus has Marvel shows and the movies, and a lot of people really love the superhero Marvel movies, and that's what sort of gravitated a lot of people towards Disney Plus. And Netflix has, shows like rebooted shows like I mentioned before, like Cobra Kai has that sort of nostalgic factor to it that will get a lot of people to join in, and especially with Hulu having unique shows and having exclusive movies on only their streaming service. That's why a lot of people gravitate towards Hulu too. And now Paramount Plus has this sort of cool little factor where they kind of pull at or tug at the childhood heartstrings, where they know a lot of their fans, or they just know a lot of people in general who buy streaming services are younger. So I'm giving a quick random range here, but I'm saying from 16 to 27. Those are that's the main age that really gravitates towards streaming services rather than say cable or anything like that. And I think that was one of the biggest ways that Paramount Plus sort of used that to their advantage, knowing that demographic there. So a lot of people in that age range have grown up with SpongeBob or have grown up with iCarly, and having that on their service really does help them when it comes to that. And honestly, I agree with that. Knowing that iCarly is gonna have a reboot on Paramount Plus makes me want to get Paramount Plus. And I feel like a lot of other people are sort of following me, or not following me, but having that sort of same mentality when it comes to that. And I'm really excited for what Paramount Plus has to offer in the future. And it's kind of I'm calling it a streaming wars, where which show or which streaming service has the best show and which can get the most amount of people. I still think Disney Plus is probably going to be one of the major ones. Probably going to beat Netflix, just because of how like big of a roster they have when it comes to services and shows. Like they have ESPN, they have again Marvel. Um, Surprisingly enough, they have National Geographic, which can apply to a lot of people. And they have a bunch of other things like Pixar, and just basically everything that that your childhood had back then is on Disney Plus. So I have a feeling that Disney Plus is gonna still be on top when it comes to streaming services. But let's hope for the best with Paramount Plus. And yeah, also I forgot to mention this, but Disney Plus is having a deal with Epix, another service that has various movies and popular movies. I can't name any on top of the head, but they have a lot of really good movies on their. And yeah, I believe they have a deal with Paramount Plus with that. I'm not sure exactly what the deal is, but I know it's limited time only, and they're it's only for like 40 days. I forgot where I read it or heard it from, but yeah, it's only like a 40-day thing, and definitely snag it if you can, because I know Epix has a lot of good movies coming out. But yeah, it's definitely a streaming war sort of thing, and yeah, they all have like the powerhouse shows, and I'm really excited for what's going to happen in the future, and hopefully I can partake with with Paramount Plus. And yeah, again, it's been really exciting, and all of this is sort of coming from Twitter, because a lot of people talking about it, and there's definitely a lot of memes that have come out of this. There's no like one meme, but there's a bunch of people, knowing like people acknowledging the fact that there's other like streaming services at war with them, quote unquote war, I guess. But yeah, there's a lot of memes that came out of this, as anything that goes on the internet. But yeah, again on Twitter tomorrow. I mentioned this last week, not last week, but the last episode. But I'm gonna mention it again. Tomorrow is sadly, or whenever this comes out, today is the finale of WandaVision, and I'm really, really sad, just because I love Marvel. I love all of that, and I don't want to like talk about it for too long, just because I already mentioned the last episode. But yeah, WandaVision is ending this tomorrow or today, and yeah, again, there's more memes that come out of it. People are showing that they are really sad that it's ending, and people are also like still making more theories and guesses of what's going to happen, and making memes about how they're sad about the ending, and just overall it's just a sad day for WandaVision. But it is exciting, because once this show concludes, more movies can come out and more shows can continue. So again, I'm really excited. Now, I didn't notice, but TikTok, it did have it sort of like a trending page, kind of. I was looking through the app, and I didn't know this, but if you just it just shows trending hashtags, nothing like no trending videos, no trending trends, nothing like that. It's just more just trending hashtags, and I kind of want to talk about some of them, because they're pretty fun. So first up is a hashtag Geoguesser. So if you don't know what Geoguesser is, it's basically a game online, anyone can play, where you are put on a random place in the map, so like through Google Maps, and you have to guess where you are at. So it doesn't tell you the location, doesn't tell you the place you're in, doesn't tell you the state, the country, or anything. It just gives you the street view of where they pin you down, and you have to guess. And obviously, the closer you are, the more points you get, and the farther you are, the less points you get. And I've honestly played this before, and it's a lot of fun. But it's trending on It's trending on TikTok because of how there's this one user, I forgot his name, or there's multiple users that just absolutely dominate in the game. And, they would get it within 2 yards away or 30 miles away. And they're all fairly close. If you're getting random places all over the world, they're fairly close. And there's memes coming out of it where, people are saying it's fake, and it's staged, where they do some research prior to recording their video of them guessing it. And yeah, I mean, it's it's nothing major really, but Geoguesser is just all over TikTok, and I keep wanting to say Twitter, but it's all over TikTok. And yeah, honestly, for me, I see it all the time on my For You page. And if you can, you should definitely try out and play the game Geoguesser, just because it's a little quick thing you can play real quick, and play with your family, your friends, or whatever. Next up is hashtag small business check. Nothing not really funny or comedy in this hashtag. It's more just overall pretty cool to see. in my opinion, because I'm someone who really does advocate or support a lot of small businesses just because, you know, I want to support them. And seeing, like, you know, all these small businesses, people customizing shoes, people selling candy, people selling buttons, like anything, like it literally goes from like anything. People have their own clothing brands, and it's overall, it's just really, really cool to see that all these people are doing what they want, and there's a lot of like different things. So like, say if you like really like what's that called? Fitness clothing or something like that. Clothes you wear to the gym, but you don't want to buy from like Gymshark. You don't want to buy from Nike anymore. You want something cheaper. I believe, like, you know, you could definitely find it on TikTok. I almost said Twitter again, but you could definitely find it on TikTok. And yeah, there's people who are like making their own clothes, making their own brands, and sort of just branching out to do what they want. And I just think it's really cool. I think that the hashtag has just been popular overall. It just really hasn't, you know, gone away. It's been a popular hashtag within the past couple of like weeks, I guess. Just because, you know, it's small businesses are still like pumping out videos, and small businesses are still like, you know, being made every day, and it's just a really trending hashtag for the past couple months. And it warms my heart to see people getting all the support that they need. And TikTok's the best place for that. And lastly, for TikTok, it's hashtag gaming TikTok, and it kind of resonates with me because I'm quote unquote a gamer. I do like to play games, and gaming TikTok is just a thing that is really popular right now, with a lot of people posting their setup of their, you know, of their PCs, because a lot of people play on PC or on their computers, and people show their setups on TikTok. And, you know, people talk about games that they're playing. People talk about like clips, or people show clips that they're of them playing a game. And overall, it's a really cool community within that one hashtag. People supporting friends, people supporting people, friends supporting friends. And overall, it's definitely a hashtag you should all definitely check out if you are a gamer, or like, you know, if you want to learn tips about a certain game. It's probably on there. It's on TikTok. So yeah, I think that's really it for when it comes to social media. There really wasn't much going on these past couple of days, you know, on social media. Like nothing was really blowing up. Not a lot of people were talking about anything. I did want to mention the Meghan and bullying thing back in England, but I kind of want to like keep it to the U.S. or not strictly U.S., but like something I'm more knowledgeable about. But yeah, there is that sort of thing going on in England. And yeah, there really wasn't much going on this week. It's not hard, but like it's interesting that some weeks can have so much news going on, and then the next week there'd be nothing going on at all on social media. I mean, there's always something going on social media. There's always a trending hashtag or something. Nothing major that really would break the internet. Nothing, you know, like a boxing fight amongst YouTubers. That would be something I would definitely report on, because it would be something that's talked about a lot on social media. But recently, as you know, these past couple of days, there wasn't really much, and you know, I'm not complaining or anything. That's how social media is. That's how literally the internet is. Sometimes it really comes in waves. But you know, I kind of want to focus on sort of influencers within my next segment. Especially, I don't know if I want to do this like every week or, you know, every time I make a podcast, but I definitely want to talk about an influencer every so often, and sort of educate someone who's listening on who this influencer is or what they do. And I kind of want to highlight this week, I definitely want to try to talk about David Dobrik and sort of his history on YouTube, because he is a YouTuber, and where he's at right now. So I'm going to talk about him in the next segment, but first we are going to take a quick break.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast, dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed your break, because I for sure did. And I kind of ended off last segment talking about David Dobrik, a really, really, really popular influencer on social media right now, who I think I mentioned him on, I think, 2 podcasts ago, but nonetheless, I still mentioned him. And he has 18.8 million subscribers on YouTube, which is absolutely insane. It's something we all kind of, obviously we wish we had. But the reason why I'm talking about him is because he has a new app that recently released, I think today or yesterday, but it was a couple days ago, that he recently released, and it's something I definitely want to talk about throughout this podcast. But a little preface to this sort of segment here: I don't know if I want to make this an every week sort of thing, where every week I showcase an influencer that I want to educate people on or let people know what's going on with them. It's kind of like, it's something that I kind of want to do just because there's so many influencers online, and it's kind of hard to keep track of all of them. And I kind of want to do like that sort of segment where we talk about what's going on with their lives, what's going on with them socially, and what's going on with them outside of social media. So I think I might do that just because it's an interesting topic to do. But anyways, back to David. So, to those who don't know, David Dobrik was a Vine star back in 2012, but once Vine ended, he sort of switched over to YouTube, making, I think, daily vlogs, but he was making daily vlogs, and eventually, people loved his vlogs, people, sort of resonated with his content, and he gained a lot of more supporters throughout the years, and right now he's at 18.8 million subscribers, and he has just gotten so much loved by... Not loved, but he's gotten so much love just by a large mass of people. He's gotten so many support with things that he's done, the videos that he's made, and people just love him in general. And it's because his vlogs showcase what his life is like, and and those vlogs really showcase, a life that's crazy, a life that has, it's just full of events. There's things going on. He goes to a club and sees Jaden Smith there. He gives out cars, which I'm actually going to explain some of that later. But yeah, he gives out cars to his friends. He does all these crazy things, and he vlogs all of them, and people just love the content. I've seen comments where people are saying, I live my life through David's vlogs just because it's something that people want. And that's why people resonate with his content. And not going to lie, I am somewhat of a fan of his content and the vlogs he's made. And yeah, some of the things he does on social media is, first off, he has a new app. It's called Dispo, and the app basically is a digital disposable camera. So I believe the main function of the app is, you take pictures of someone or something, and the app sort of quote unquote processes the film, and it's available the next morning. So I've tried out the app myself, and it is a really cool concept. You don't really see that often where it comes to disposable digital, kind of like what's that called when two words are the complete opposite? My gosh, I'm really blanking out the word. Oxymoron, that's the word. Yeah, it's kind of like oxymoron where it comes like a digital disposable camera. He has that new app, and it's blowing up. I believe it's number 4th on apps in the App Store. I think it's just top apps. It's number 4 on there, and it could beat out several social media apps. But he has a new app. He has a podcast called Views, which I sometimes do listen to too. He also has obviously a YouTube channel, and honestly, in that YouTube channel, he hasn't made a video in around 10 months. And I'm kind of sad, just because I've been waiting for his content to be made and just seeing the vlogs. But I mean, I get it. I don't think he wants to showcase him, because a big portion of his vlogs were just him and his friends and living his life with his friends. But now he doesn't want to really promote a sort of a lifestyle that's surrounded by people because of COVID, and that's really understandable. And he kind of, I guess he's mindful of what he does, but yeah, he still hasn't made a video in around 10 months on his main channel, but in his podcast channel, he has posted videos, and which is kind of interesting to me because on his podcast channel, he has guests. he recently had the Charlie and Dixie D'Amelio. If you don't know who those are, go check out my first ever episode with GSMC. And he also made another one with DJs Diplo and Dylan Francis. And he prefaced it on the podcast channel that he always, tests everyone before they come in. And it's just really interesting to see, he can't. I don't know. It's he posts on one channel, he doesn't post on the other, whatever. But yeah, he still posts on his podcast channel, and his main source of income back then was through the vlogs, because YouTube did pay him for all the views that he got and stuff like that. And a lot of people are asking where is he getting this money still? I think one of the main reasons on how he's getting money is through the Dispo app. So it is reported. It's not this is estimated also, but its estimated price would be right now $200 million. Not price, but it's total amount of money. How much it's worth? I really just struggle saying that, but how much it's worth is around $200 million, and that's been out for a couple of days now. And it's because a lot of supporters are, trying to support David as much as he can and downloading his app. And, with his 18.8 million subscribers and even more followers on Instagram, people are going to be trying to support him. And, the main way is to download his app. And I believe the app is free. But yeah, $200 million, it's estimated worth. And that's absolutely crazy for an app that's only been out for a couple of days. And another way he still gets money, I believe he had a show, or he has one on National Geographic, where it's like the show Wipeout, but with dodgeballs. So I believe he hosted the show where a bunch of people run courses, but they have dodgeballs being thrown at them. It's kind of very similar to Wipeout, but it's on National Geographic, and obviously he had to he got paid for that, for being a host. And he was on another show with Nickelodeon. I forget, he was a host for another show. I forgot the exact name of it, but he was a host for various shows. Another thing is that through sponsors, so although he is not really producing content, he still does get sponsors through his other social media platforms. Say he can make a quick video on Instagram promoting this one brand, and you can get paid for that. I think when he was making, I really want to note this, but when he was making YouTube videos, he would constantly be getting sponsors. And for example, EA, the what is that called? The game developer company. They made Need for Speed, that game Need for Speed, and in a way to compensate him was get him a Ferrari. I believe they got him a Ferrari, or no, they got him a Lamborghini. And what David did with that Lamborghini, he gifted it to his friend and put out his vlog. So he's kind of not recycling it, but he's using it to produce more content. What he gets. So he's kind of, he's investing it into his content. Yeah, and getting cars is a very common thing on David's channel. So, for example, he gets sponsored by SeatGeek, which is basically a company that sells tickets. And they would, in order, after he, quickly delivers the message from his sponsors, it cuts to him buying cars with the money that he got from SeatGeek. And he's gifted his friends, cars all the time, and he's gifted more than 20 people with cars through his sponsorships, and he's even paid his friends college tuitions through these sponsorships. So he doesn't only buy cars, but he gets pays tuition and stuff like that. And overall, David is, I don't want to praise him, but he's rolling in money right now. Even through a pandemic, he still is getting money constantly, and I think people are still watching his videos and still producing him money to YouTube. And yeah, he really is well loved by a lot of people, a large mass of people, and I'm kind of one of them. But recently, main reasons why I kind of want to bring him up is because he's been under some fire because he is perceived to be as fake by some people in his old friend group. So to give some backstory, if what I'm saying isn't enough, but to give some backstory, David records with his friends, and people, the fans, I guess, call them the Vlog Squad, because they're all consisted of other vloggers too, but he's the main one. And recently, Trisha Paytas, who was part of the Vlog Squad, is also a vlogger herself. She had I don't know if she didn't get kicked out, but she sort of left at one point because of the drama that happened months ago, or even years ago. And she did tell the quote-unquote truth about David and how he manipulates his friends sometimes. Sometimes a lot of the bits that they do are fake, and she explains like a lot of the things that they say or do or are sort of lies. None of the real emotions are there. People are, David is telling people what to do, and David is, being like, hey, do this, or we gotta redo this because it wasn't good enough. And she basically bashing on the whole vlog squad about how David manipulated a bunch of people to make the vlogs good. And no one has really confirmed or denied these accusations in terms of the vlog squad, especially David. He sort of just ignores it. But yeah, Trisha Paytas sort of like our number one enemy right now. But yeah, she's been sort of telling the truth and her experiences and what's been going on and all the negative things that's been happening. And another person called Big Nick, he was also part of the vlog squad. I think he's still good friends with them, but he did explain his experiences and how he was sort of quote unquote bullied because he has a condition and people made fun of him for that. And they would often poke fun at him for what he has and whatnot. And at first he said it was like mainly a joke, but then as the vlogs continued, it became like sort of like bullying. Again, no one really confirmed or denied about these accusations through the vlog squad, so you don't really know what people are saying is true or not. And a lot of people are recently hating on his recent podcast with Dylan Francis and what's his name? Diplo, yeah. Because so David has the Views podcast, but he has a host named Jason Nash, who's also his co-host. And in that episode in particular, Jason, it seemed like Jason was really left out. David was sort of focused on his guests, and even I watched it too, and it seemed like the cameraman wasn't even focused on Jason. He was sort of like a background noise. It was, it would cut to just, if David was talking, it would cut to him, but if they were talking, it would cut to the DJs talking, never really to Jason. And it was really interesting because like those small details people did notice fairly quickly, and a lot of fans are hating on this recent new podcast just because they felt like David's treating Jason unfairly, his co-host. And that also brings up maybe what Trisha and Big Nick are saying is true. What if David is just manipulating everyone, or what if he's just doing it just to get views or just to get whatever he wants? So it brings a big question on what he is like a person. And, in terms of the future for David, it's kind of unclear because we're not sure what's going to happen to him. And first off, like videos, like, again, when is he going to make another vlog? When is he going to make another YouTube video? No one really knows. And in terms of him being a quote-unquote viral sensation, I remember when he was still posting vlogs, he was, what is it? He was always on a trending page. Every time he put out a vlog, almost every week, he was always on a trending page because every episode or every video he made, there was always something going on that was crazy. And yeah, and people are going to question it now because after this pandemic, and now he has some more haters compared to before. Is he still going to remain viral? He's still going to remain popular amongst other people. And if people are still going to like him. So it definitely just brings up that question. And there's a bunch of other things about David Dobrik that we can all talk about, but that's for literally, that can go on for like a whole hour. But I'm definitely not gonna do that. But yeah, and on to my next segment. I kind of want to talk about stray away from sort of like that individual person, just do a more broad sense of social media itself. So I kind of want to like talk about like the different forms of social media, because I didn't know this until today when I did research, but there are many different forms of social media. And I'm going to talk about like the main 4 or 5 components of them. And yeah, I'm going to talk about them. But first, we're going to take a quick break.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. more. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Alright, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. So I ended off last segment really talking about the different forms of social media. And a little preface, this is going to be like sort of like an educational or informational type of segment, just because I kind of want to talk about this and, I guess teach myself and the people listening about the different forms of it. Maybe this information can be useful to someone in the future. Maybe they got a job as a social media intern, and they need to know the different types of social media. So it's definitely, this stuff is definitely something you should definitely look out for. Well, I really said definitely a lot in that one sentence. But anyways, I'm going to name the four, if I can count. Yeah, four. So it's social networking, microblogging or just regular blogging, video sharing, and photo sharing. So they're all fairly somewhat similar and simple. So first up is social networking. So social networking, it can be confused a lot with different things. So this is mainly like LinkedIn, surprisingly Facebook, even ZipRecruiter, Google Plus. So all these sort of focus on one central thing, which is connecting with others. So of course you can connect with others with Instagram, but this is mainly for the user connection. So the services that these websites have focus on connecting with people. So example for like LinkedIn, there's a lot of options to put in all your different forms of identification. Not like like license stuff, but like telling us who you are, your name. You can tell us your previous jobs, your experience, anything like that. So it's more like in depth when it comes to the user's information, when compared to like Instagram, which is pictures. And same thing with like Facebook, where you can literally like tell people how you're feeling. You can tell people what you're thinking about and anything like that. And also you can put that in it's more bio based, where I'm this tall or I'm feeling this way, or and it's more on one-on-one basis with a user. So it's really like that when it comes to, it's basically putting your own personality on the internet. I feel like that's the best way I can explain it. Because like say if you do compare it to like Instagram again, you're not really showing much of your personality. It's mainly just showing pictures. But since Facebook was created primarily to connect other people, that's what it really is, just sharing your personality and sharing any small detail really about you. And that's, again, like same thing with ZipRecruiter and apparently Google. I don't really use Google Plus, but people use it. But yeah, apparently Google Plus is a social networking website, which I can see too, because I there's like the profile and connecting with people, and just mainly I guess to wrap that whole social networking description up, it's basically just connection. The main premise of the service or the social media platform is to connect other people. Now with microblogging or just blogging in general, this is mainly, it's in the name. It's sort of like smaller version of blogging. In that it's more on Tumblr, Twitter, and I said Reddit for this one too, just because. And yeah, I did find these off of like research. I did find it online, this whole list, but Reddit wasn't on there. But I believe Reddit really kind of is in form of blogging or microblogging. It's because these are all forum type things where people write out what they're thinking. People write out certain revelations. People type out or write out ideas or whatnot, and these are all websites that you can do it on. So like say like Tumblr, I know I don't really use Tumblr or that often just because it's not really, not really with my generation or whatever. But Tumblr is not mainly focused on, I guess, writing, expressing yourself through writing, and same with Twitter. Um, People can write not whole novels, but people can write. Here's a whole theory about the moon landing on Twitter, and people can do that on Tumblr, and people can do that on Reddit too. And I kind of want to focus on Reddit a lot when it comes to the blogging forum, just because Reddit is basically a forum that has different topics and subtopics and Reddits and subreddits, and there's a lot of information you can find on Reddit just about really anything. You can literally find a whole subreddit involving what's the best brand of Lysol to use when fighting coronavirus. That honestly, that is probably a subreddit. But there's sort of like a thing that form factor when it comes to writing and informing people. And I guess with Twitter, it's a mini blog. Like, you can treat it as a mini blog. So like, blogs usually talk about what happened this day or what happened, within this week, and explaining. And you can do that on Twitter too, where you can explain what happened, or you can explain your thoughts and anything like that on Twitter. I'm assuming Tumblr, you could do the same thing too, where you can post whatever you really want to say on there. And that's again, I don't really know much about Tumblr, but I think that's the main premise or the main description when it comes to the whole blogging or micro blogging criteria, where it's mainly writing and expressing through writing. Next up is like the video sharing for me. Video sharing it's in its name, sites or websites that you can use to share videos. Obviously, the first thing that really comes into mind is YouTube. Sort of Instagram too, because you can share videos on Instagram, but video sharing, YouTube, TikTok, House Party, Periscope. I'm not sure how about House Party that much, but Periscope, YouTube, and TikTok, those are three ones that that really do stand out, especially like with YouTube. The whole premise of that website is to put out videos. So for example, you can, again, much like Reddit, you can find a lot of things on YouTube. You can find a video, a tutorial on how to set up a computer, or you can find an hour-long video on how to buy a house. You can really find a lot of different things on YouTube, and like that's what the main premise of the website is just producing video content. Again, the categories are very wide, and it even shows on the site itself. Like if you look at the left-hand portion of the website, you'll find all these different topics like gaming, music videos, entertainment, movies, anything really. There's so many categories that you can find on YouTube, and that's really like why it's such a good website to find videos in, because you can really find like 5-second videos to 24-hour long videos. And YouTube is really the main sort of like video sharing website that there is. And again, TikTok, I don't hate like mentioning TikTok, but like I just mention it so much just because it's so prevalent right now, and it's something that like I don't think it's gonna go away anytime soon. And I keep saying I don't want to, but I know probably next episode I'm gonna mention TikTok. But yeah, TikTok is definitely another way for video sharing content. It's, again, the main premise of it. You can never find pictures. You can never find like tweets or something like that on TikTok. It's mainly just you you make a video, you send it out, and everyone sees it. So that's a very major video sharing website right now, or I guess platform. And I guess with Periscope too, I know Periscope is like mainly like streaming, like live streaming. So say if you want to like live stream your dinner with your famous buddy, then you can do that through Periscope. And And lastly is the photo sharing sort of genre, and that is Instagram, Pinterest, and Snapchat. And I kind of want to focus on Instagram first. So obviously the main premise of Instagram is to share photos. And obviously right now where it's at, it's gone to like much more different extent. So obviously it can be categorized as video sharing too. But when it was first created, the main intent was to share photos. It wasn't really meant to share videos or share how I'm feeling or share what my expressions are. You can do that, but like the main premise was to show or share a recent vacation, or a recent dinner that you made, or what you're watching. These, like, just everything in image form. Honestly, I think it as Twitter, but picture form. Yeah, people can just, like, post whatever. Like, if they're going to go out to dinner, the people can post that. If people can post their lives on Instagram, but through only images. That was the main purpose of it. And same thing with Snapchat. Snapchat's more like a photo sharing. Obviously, it's more communication based. No one really posts anything except for stories. But yeah, it's more communication based, where people are talking and communicating with each other through pictures. You can, like, the really interesting thing about Snapchat is that you take a picture, you send it, but you can't see it, you can't save it, you can't do anything with it. It really just has an image, a caption, and then that's it. And people talk through that. I've had multiple discussions or even arguments with people through Snapchat, and it's crazy to think because people would have arguments over text, and that's already a crazy thing compared to arguing in person. But now you can argue on Snapchat where it's a picture of something, and you'll be like, this pizza flavor is better than your pizza flavor, and then you can send it to your friend, and then they won't see it again. You can have full-on conversations through just pictures. That's what I'm trying to say, and it's obvious. Like, again, it's oh my gosh, it's incredibly insane how you can do that. How much has changed. And with Pinterest, I believe it's mainly just like just posting pictures of something really cool and putting it out there on Pinterest. I know people have made, like, quote unquote mood boards on Pinterest, or have certain aesthetics on Pinterest, and how they feel about one thing or another thing. And yeah, these are all, like, again, the main premise of this is in its name. It's meant to share photos. It really wasn't made to do anything more than that. Obviously, probably developers had the idea of going more than just photos, but the main premise of both video sharing and photo sharing is to share videos and share photos. And I believe that, knowing the difference, it can. I was, like, in the beginning, I said, like, it can help someone in the future, but obviously I feel like it can really help someone in the future knowing the differences between all these different types of social media. Because if you really are getting interviewed as a social media intern, you kind of have to know which is which. You say you're in a meeting and someone is saying, like, we can't do it, we can't post this on LinkedIn, but we can post it on Instagram. You have to know the difference and why, because there's, like, different things on it too. And I feel like there's also the sense of professionalism between, like, say with social networking compared to Snapchat or something like that. Like, definitely you'll see a business person on LinkedIn more. Like, there's a higher chance of seeing a business person on LinkedIn than Snapchat. If that makes sense. And sorry, I kind of got sidetracked there. But knowing the difference between all these four different things can prove to be important and can be helpful or even useful in the future. I feel like there's definitely going to be a situation that I'll run into, as, like, about social media platforms, just because I am a marketing major. And in case someone does ask me, or if I'm being tested or quizzed or even, like, interviewed about it, it's good to know, just because it's just good to know. All right, now so for our next segment, I kind of want to, like, talk about a common thing that I found ever since I graduated high school. And that is that there has been a steady increase on fitness accounts on Instagram. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's just a really interesting pattern that I've seen. Now, I kind of want to talk about that in my next segment. Like, how does social media coincide or even incorporate itself into fitness? Because I feel like there's definitely a match there, and I want to talk about that in a second after this break.
Want to find out what movies to go see? Then check out the GSMC Movie Podcast. It's your ticket to the latest movies, whether it's a new blockbuster event, romantic, comedy, or action flick. This show has got it all covered. They talk some what to go see now, don't bother, what's hot on Netflix, and everything in between. That's GSMCpodcast.com/movie-podcast. When it's all about the movies, it has to be this new show. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow follow them on Twitter. Visit gsmcpodcast.com for more info.
Alright, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. Hope you enjoyed your break, because, guess what? Because I for sure did. Now, I ended the last segment off talking about how there was a steady increase on fitness pages that I've come across. And, again, it's not a bad thing. And these fitness pages, they're not like the major big ones, like the famous people ones. No hate to anyone that has one. It's just more like a lot of people that I know have started fitness pages. And again, I want to reiterate this. This is no problem to me. I enjoy people working out. I work out myself, no flex, literally. But it's really interesting to see. It's just, what caused a lot of people to sort of, branch out and make an Instagram account or even have a YouTube channel with it. And I kind of want to share my thoughts just about that. So initially, it started off when I graduated high school, and prior to this, I knew some of these people were already were pretty involved or well involved with fitness. Would work out and sometimes would post them at the gym on their Snapchat story and whatnot. But that was really it. But after I graduated, there was an increase, or there were more and more people just making Instagram fitness accounts, and it really did to this day I still don't know why, but I mean, I have a lot of close friends that really do this, and honestly, it's just really cool to see them transform within the first year to the next year, then the year after that, and yeah, I really don't know where I want to go with this, just because it's a very broad topic when I'm talking about fitness pages and people that I know do it. I think one of the main reasons why people have began to branch out and make more Instagram fitness pages is that maybe first off they weren't really sure in high school or how people would react, because say if you did make an Instagram fitness account in high school as a junior, sometimes people, would make comments or would poke fun at you having that. And I think, that's just the dynamic of high school, of how high school was. People would make fun of you if you did something different. And if, the same thing goes for if you had a fitness account on Instagram. And sometimes people would be, nice workout video. Used to nice workout video, really sarcastically and whatnot. So I feel like one of the main reasons why people sort of didn't do it back then in high school was more just on fear of being made fun of. But, after graduation, you're no longer seeing these people. You move on to college, and yeah, you're more sort of motivated to do stuff that you really want to do. And I totally do get that. And I have friends who have started them, as I mentioned before, and seeing their progress is probably one of the main things that motivates them to make an Instagram page. They want to put it out somewhere. Maybe they're not even making it for other people. They're making it for themselves. So if you want to see yourself progress throughout the year and see how much you've changed in terms of, say, you gotten bigger, and bulkier as you worked out, having that Instagram page can really help track that. And it just so happens that, people are following your page. And, as I continue talking about this, it's still, I'm still trying to think of ways on how, reasons on why there is an increase. I think one of the other reasons why is, maybe there was just, a desire that people hid. I guess that kind of goes on, what I said before, people were well involved with working out and weightlifting, and they just didn't really show that until maybe they found out about the world of fitness and how intense it can be, and they decide to showcase their journey on Instagram. I think definitely another reason why people have made more Instagram fitness accounts is mainly just to motivate other people. And honestly, that's a really good way to that's a really good motivation on making one. Is just motivating other people and showing, you can change. Because I've seen several YouTubers and influencers uh, showcase their journey on both Instagram, YouTube, and even Snapchat sometimes, showcasing their journey on like weight loss or something like that. And it can motivate others to get more involved with fitness, and it can trigger something on someone to maybe like, that's the last bit of motivation they need in order to start working out. And so, maybe that's why people started fitness pages, just to motivate other people. And yeah, I just think I honestly think it's really cool. I'm a person who really advocates for doing whatever you want and do what you can't, basically. That's a quote from another popular YouTuber, Casey Neistat. That's his quote, is do what you can. And that's really true. I literally live my life sort of with that quote. I do stuff that people really don't expect me to do. And, that's also another thing for another topic. But yeah, it's do something you can, and I feel like that's like a thing that a lot of people are doing right now, is doing something that they've been always wanted to do and starting a YouTube page when it comes to fitness. And I think I did in my own personal podcast, actually. I have interviewed, or not interviewed, but I talked to my friends about their experiences on their fitness journeys and what they've really done socially in terms of social media, and how to grow their channels, how to grow their influence on other people. And one of the main things was that they stayed consistent. I have a friend who has around 50-something subscribers, and he's pumping out videos every single day, or nearly every single day. And big props to him, because, he's somewhat of a smaller channel, but still loves to do what he does. He still loves to make content. He loves to show what he does. And I think that's another reason why people are motivated to do these things. I guess to keep him occupied, or to keep him busy. But yeah, it's really hard to pinpoint one sort of exact idea on why there is a growth on fitness pages. But hey, you know what? I'm really proud of all these people. I'm a big fan of what they do, and honestly, I see them on Instagram, and it's really cool to see all of them working out to be the best version of themselves. And again, that sort of goes into my main sort of mantra, which is like, do what you can. Maybe they weren't able to work out as much as they could have a couple years ago, but now they've had the motivation, again, the motivation to start working out more. And yeah, I don't really know where I'm going out with this sort of segment. It's sort of like a free flow sort of one thing. What I'm trying to do is in one take. But yeah, it's sort of like a free flow sort of thing where I'm not really sure what I'm going with, like the whole sort of segment of this podcast. But yeah, it's overall it's a really cool experience to see all your friends, people that you know, sort of put themselves out there, make a fitness page, and sort of, I guess, trying to motivate other people. I think another reason on why people make sort of fitness pages is to inform other people too. Honestly, I look through them, and as a person who goes to I'm not intense as them, but I do work out to like stay in shape or to stay healthy. But I look through their pages and look at like certain workouts I should be doing, or how to do a certain form on an exercise, and honestly, they have helped me. They all really have helped me when it comes to that, and I think that's one of the main reasons on why people are making them too, is just to inform other people on how to do a certain thing correctly. I feel like there's like millions and millions of different ways to, different like forms of motivation that would motivate someone to make a fitness account or make a fitness page. But with what I've seen amongst my friends and the people that I've known in high school and the ones who have made them, I think one of the main reasons why is to show their progress. Because I have another friend. He has a fitness account too, and right now he's in the process of getting shredded. I don't know if he's getting cut. That's what it is. So it's basically losing, trying to change lowering your body fat, where a lot of more of your muscles show. And he's been trying to do that because he's in the process of going to a competition. and he's been documenting his sort of workouts, his post-workout like feeling and like what he's feeling or like what he's thinking, and he's been posting that on his Instagram. And I didn't realize this till now, but like he's just really just showing his progress. So maybe it could be for us, his fans or his audience, or maybe it can just be for him to look at himself in the future. But nonetheless, these are all different ways of motivating yourself to start work. Not motivating yourself, but like motivating themselves to start working out more and guessing to keep track of where they're at in their journey. I guess like to wrap this sort of, not wrap it up, but like sort of like put all like, on one thought here. I guess it's just to show progress within yourself or motivate others. I think those are really the main reasons of why fitness accounts are starting to become more and more popular among sort of, I guess, my demographic of people, of like, I guess not like people, but like younger people. Because, fitness is steadily growing amongst the social media community. People are constantly partaking, I guess, in that sort of lifestyle. And I think one of them, like when I talked to one of my friends on my one podcast on reasons on why he started like a YouTube channel and a fitness Instagram account, I think one of the main reasons he said was that he thought it was cool what other people were doing, like, I forgot the names, but like what other big fitness account influencers were doing. He wanted to not copy that, but he kind of wanted to be in that lifestyle too. So he got involved, started making content and stuff like that. And there you go. He's already on his way to becoming an influencer himself. So there's definitely a lot of different motives. I guess it really depends on the person itself. But yeah, even honestly, I thought of making an Instagram. I thought of making an Instagram fitness page myself, but I think I should probably do that longer down the line when I've started getting used to going to the gym and getting used to like different things. But it's honestly, for me, if I were to do it, I think my main motivation was just see how much I've progressed throughout the time span from when I started to where I would be present. Just because I like seeing the change that people have made, and seeing people from high school and comparing them to now, they've gotten a lot bigger and like in terms of like getting cut and getting shredded, and honestly I think it's really cool to see overall in general. But yeah, I didn't really know what was going on with the segment, but like it was more on just like a free flow type of thing where I kind of want to talk about like something I've noticed within these past couple of months, and I'm glad I got to share it here on the podcast because it's really prevalent now. And whoever's listening, let me know if you've noticed sort of this type of thing too. Maybe you've experienced a lot of people that from like work or school or just anywhere in general that someone you should know have started the fitness page. But now I think that's all the time we have actually today. So again, I want to say thank you all for listening to the podcast. This has been the GSMC Social Media News Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jose, and any feedback on these podcasts really helps. Providing a positive one too. Let us know if we did good. That really helps. And make sure to follow us on all social media platforms, especially I believe Twitter's our main one too, and follow us on Facebook too. And yeah, thank you all, and I'll see you all in the next episode.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Social Media Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.